Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mike T. Sharp, aka the Black Awareness Rally podcast, which is affectionately taken from the film Coming to America. You could be rocking with anybody else in the world right now, but you are here with us, and for that we do appreciate you. This is your man Pledge, alongside my main man B.
What up? What y'all doing?
And we welcome you to the conversation. So what's going on, B?
Just another Saturday, homie. What y'all got going on?
Oh man, it's Mother's Day weekend, man. So just trying to make sure that all that's lined up for everybody that's involved. So,
Well,
what's going on with you, man?
I guess that is happening to me. Had to send my package home, so moms would be straight. But outside of that, man, just up here in Georgia trying to hone these skills and hobbies. Trying to get them.
Georgia's one of the first states to kind of open up. Have you partaken? Have you gone anywhere? Have you done anything different this week than you would have done the previous weeks?
Nah, man. I don't go nowhere, dude. I used to think I was a homebody. If it ain't something I'm interested in doing, I ain't going. That's just pretty much that. All the stuff I want to do got canceled, so I'm at the crib, working on some hobbies, trying to make them profitable. That's it, B.
Yes.
That's it.
We'll touch on some of those hobbies and some of the things that you included a little bit later in the show.
All right.
Some of the things that you got going on or whatever. But we want to go ahead and jump into it, man. Get started with the Black Awareness Rally moments for this week.
Cool. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Well, I'll start with my Miss Black Awareness Rally moment. I want to give a shout out to not only my mother, who was awesome and great and continues to be, but also to my wife, the woman of my two lovely children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to give her a shout out. You know, every year she's always doing a good job, but especially now that everybody's at home. She's become, the virtual school principal. She's become the barber. I mean, she's just done everything. So I just want to give a shout out to my queen and, let her know that I appreciate her, and as well as my mom and, all the other moms that are part of the show. Just want to give y'all a shout out. And I'll say we do appreciate you.
What's up?
So that's my Miss Black Awareness pageant moment.
Well, mine was Michelle Obama's Becoming documentary.
Say it like you named the show.
oh, my bad. Michelle Our Mama documentary. That's everybody's affectionately dubbed forever First Lady. Also, everybody's affectionately dubbed Mama and Auntie. So that's the Auntie Supreme.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to cover as well. That's kind of what the show is going to be themed today. So we're going to dive heavily into the documentary that she put together. And I know then next we got our community moment, sponsored by McDowell's.
McDowell's coming through in the clutch.
They got the Golden Arches. We got the Golden Arch.
Y'all see them start fronting.
Yeah, so I'm going to shout out a young brother that was a part of our show a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Glenn Simmons. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Since he's been on our show, he's had a meteoric rise. Damn the fact that he was already a doctor, studying, cures to HIV. But since the show, now he is studying the effects of COVID and trying to come up with solutions to solve this pandemic. So that's major for him. So we want to give a shout out to Dr. Simmons for that. Then also, he has a podcast that he has started since joining ours that B is producing. So go ahead and shout out the podcast and give your producer credits to what Dr. Simmons has got going on, man.
Well, I ain't like Diddy and Suge trying to be all up in the video. You know what I mean? If you just want to come over here and make a podcast and produce, ain't dancing all up in the audio and the video, come and holler at your boy. But no, it's called Beats, Labs, and Life. It's pretty dope. these two fellas, Dr. Harry Taylor and Dr. Simmons Jr., are putting in a lot of work on the front lines trying to find a way that everybody can return back to normal life with this. Because, yeah, man, even though people out here acting like it ain't a big deal, you know, people have still been affected by it, namely Black people. So they are really trying to get it to a manageable space. And man, shout out to both them fellas. They making some headway. Dr. Simmons or Glenn, Dr. Simmons Jr. He just received a grant from a city entity up in Minnesota to let him study wastewater to find out how the virus is showing up, so that they can, I guess, reverse engineer it so they can attack it. And then Dr. Taylor has something really huge in the works about testing and being the brother that's in charge of all the research and the research team that's going into effectively testing it so they can dismantle it and figure out ways to attack it. So, man, crap is awesome, dude. Like, science was a hard thing for me in college, so they kind of making
that's
it.
major stuff, though, man. I mean, that's life altering work that they're doing. So shout out to those two brothers.
So that's pretty awesome. My community moment, I actually forgot to get one, B. Like I seriously did. But oh no, I didn't. I take that back. No, I didn't. There was a huge push to have like a big block party today so that people could not feel as tense about the Ahmaud situation, Ahmaud Arbery. So thought that was pretty dope, man. Jazzy Jeff and D Nice, some other notable DJs started the block party at noon today, and it's going on till midnight.
Wow.
So I think Will Smith may show up, but they selling some of his merchandise. I think Puff Daddy supposed to be there. So it's going to be a good time, man. A lot of cats going to be in there. You can catch that online somewhere. Matter of fact, I'll try to put a link in the comments. But yeah, it's going to be pretty dope.
Yeah, and I mean, to kind of piggyback off of the mod situation yesterday was his birthday. Would have been his birthday, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Would have been his 26th birthday. So a lot of people participated in the 2.23 mile run yesterday because he was an avid runner. And then the date that unfortunately he was murdered was February 23rd. So that's why the 223 came from. And so I participated in that. You know, I had been running off and on for a little bit, but, you know, that situation compelled me to, you know, lace them up one more time and go at it.
Yeah.
So it was a good reason to get back out there and run. So.
Okay. Yeah. A couple people saying they can't hear me on the mic. See how I can figure that out. Wonder what's going on with that. Go ahead and do the next segment. My favorite segment.
Are you talking about the Randy Watson sexual chocolate?
Yes.
For today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Randy Watson.
Well, this might be the one thing that forces me to get on Instagram. If it's two ladies that can get me on Instagram, it's this performance here. And it's the Jill Scott versus Erykah Badu going live, the versus battle today. So that is this week's moment. It's something that I've been looking forward to for a while, and it's sure to be entertaining. So I'll definitely be a part of that.
So topic number one, we got Michelle Obama's documentary. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I didn't see the whole thing, but I did see parts of it, and the parts that I did see, I was really enjoying it. I think it's great that she put something like this together to kind of, you know, cement her legacy and what she's done. And I think it's good for people to kind of see the processes that the steps that people have to go to achieve greatness. I think a lot of times the greatness that people achieve nowadays is kind of overnight success. People have a, just kind of this meteoric rise, but when you kind of break things down and people are able to see, oh, this is what she did, this is what she did, just kind of add the layers to it or whatever.
True.
That kind of success is more common, one, and then that kind of success is more lasting. And so I'm just kind of proud to see the process that she went through. And I mean, it really shows that, what she's been able to achieve, not just, her being associated with Barack, but her alone, what she's able to achieve is awesome. So real proud of her, and real proud that we have a great representation, not only, Barack, but the wife as well. And truly the first family that's putting the current family to shame right now. So big ups.
Shade. Hey man, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about one of my frat brothers, man. He's been clowning the documentary all over Facebook, and it's been funny, but he's like a joker like me. We understand the documentary, like you were saying, just give a little background information. It's a feel good documentary. It's kind of middle of the road, vanilla in the essence, so that everybody can enjoy it. You know what I mean? They stay extremely neutral. They didn't get into anything really heavy. And it wasn't even that political, to be honest with you.
Nah,
it was very middle of the road.
Most of the story, like you said, becoming, like, I think it was more so of just the story behind everything, but not anything, overly entertaining or
right.
Oh no, like she don't have a highlight reel like Jordan, so
I mean, everybody can't have one like MJ, but man, my homeboy, he was clowning it, man. He was like, man, it was terrible. He stopped halfway through it, and he was joking, of course, because he makes documentaries, so his opinion of it might be a whole lot different than, say, moms and grandmothers out there that are just watching it and just having a good time. So I get it. It ain't no cinematic masterpiece. It might win some awards because being who she is, but outside of that, man, it's pretty cool, man. I thought it was nice and chill, make everybody feel good. But it does follow extremely closely to the memoir. It talks about everything that's in the book. So, like I was telling people in my little review, if you ain't read the book yet, you can watch this and get a little update on what's going to be in the book. So it's pretty cool for that.
Definitely.
But how about we got to talk about these racist cats that's out here in the internet tripping up. I ain't tell you about so I got a coworker, man. I love her dearly. She was really cool at the job, man. She was the auntie. You gotta have an auntie at every location. She's a white lady. She's middle-aged, not middle-aged. She's an elderly white lady, and she's from New York. I thought she was hella cool, but till we got on Instagram, till she started posting, what she want to post. I can't say nothing about what she want to post. But bruh, I put my little review up on Instagram this week, and she jumped in the comments with some. Did she talk about how she's a man who turned into a woman? I was like, come on, dog.
I mean,
they can't let it go, dog.
I feel you, man, but they don't have anything. They really have nothing on this family, and so it's like, let's just make up some stuff, the craziest stuff possible, and it's sad. It really is sad that she had pictures of when she was a baby, videos of when she was a baby, growing up all the time or whatever, and it's like, that's all y'all got.
That's all they got. That's all they got. I'm like, man, this wasn't even dedicated to nothing political. It was basically somebody's memoir. Like, let's be frank. Somebody, just like we was talking about last week, somebody mushroom cloud went as high as it can go, and then she tried to change her trajectory on the landing so she could be in a softer, more comfortable position. So I wasn't looking at it like, oh, how is she gonna write new policies or anything like that?
somebody just trying to get their hustle on, man. I ain't mad at it, you know. So
and that's never been her role per se to be. I mean, proximity. She's been, in proximity to politics, but that's never been her necessarily her position.
Right.
I think that would it be something that she would be good at? I think from what we've seen so far, and definitely what the documentary shows, that I think if she were to choose that lane, that she would be successful in that lane. And she's been through the fire, so she knows what it's like.
Yeah.
With her proximity to Barack, but also she's been through the fire, so she knows what it's like. So it might be something that she tries to stay away from because she's, because of stuff like this that comes out when all you trying to do is tell your story.
So, I don't get it, man. We've been having a wild roller coaster of a week when it comes to race relations, right? So we got the obvious, issues that are happening down in South Georgia, but I just don't understand. There's like nothing you can do. It's a disease, though. It's a mental disorder. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Being racist and passionate about racism is a disease. I don't figure out how you find a way to be racist at every turn. So
and that's the tough thing about it, is that I don't think there's anything that can be done, can be said, or any event that can take place to have people snap out of it. Like what? I mean, we can combat, we can go at it, we can provide evidence to the contrary of what they believe. We could be exemplary citizens, but what can be done to shift that mindset, or for people to be like, I've been wrong all these years, like until I start seeing it happen, I don't know what can take place.
Honestly, bro, I got a couple homeboys that that we have in common, that we talk about this issue all the time, because it hasn't changed since we got here, 16, 19. It's been the same. And a lot of people are actually getting pretty perturbed about the ways that we're trying to deal with it. So like online, I see a lot of people talking about they tired of marching. They tired of doing all these different things to peacefully protest the injustices that are happening. A lot of people are saying that there's nothing wrong with the system. The justice system, criminal justice system, is happening exactly the way it's designed to happen. And all that stuff sounds wonderful because it's kind of true. But I'm like, I ain't talking about picking up guns in the sense that we need to just wage a war, because technology makes that darn near impossible for us to try to do something like that without the government just shutting it down. But I do think there is something we could do, but it always takes hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even millions of people, to be coordinated and make the same move at the same time. And that's just been the problem, man. I think that's evident with the just the mod situation. We had a lot of people get upset, fever pitch, and you had some people that made it down that march. But once you see everybody getting in there and putting pressure on the justice system down in that city, you start to get a little bit of result. So I just think that people have to be more unified, because honestly, bro, that's the problem.
I feel you, because this, my situation, it hit me a little different because one, I have a lot of family that's in that area, a lot of my mom's family.
Oh, that's where you from? I'm with the family.
And yeah. And so, I've been there several times. I was just there this past summer. We had a family reunion in Brunswick. And so I was, there this summer. I've been there several times throughout the years. And, my family living there right now, they know the neighborhood, they know some of the family. And so it really hit home that, this is something that, some of my family members could have been affected by it, or, or even if they're not affected by an incident like this, they have it in the back of their mind that something like that can happen to them. And so sometimes when you have to live in that, with that mindset, that's already restrictive to you and how you think and what you feel like you can comfortably do. So, I mean, it's just a horrible situation that's been handled horribly. You know, this happened in February. People acting like this happened last week. You know, this happened. This
3
literally
months ago,
happened
man.
3 months
Almost
ago,
3 months ago.
and now stuff has finally happened. So, I mean, it's just crazy all around.
Man, honestly, man, I try not to speak on it much anymore because in my younger days, that was my thing. I was a crusader for that sort of thing. I can remember being on the front line at some state capitals and some legislation houses, and being one of the college kids that's out there fighting and trying to get stuff to change. Even with some stuff like the Gen 6. I don't know if you remember, there was a little situation that this boot camp kid got murdered by some of the officers. We had a couple of nooses being hung on campus at USF, and I was always trying to get out there and help. That's the background I came from, and the problem always came down to we couldn't get enough people to make that move at the same time. So celebrities seem to be the only way we can get enough people to just want to make that pivot at the exact same time.
Yeah, it's crazy how the same day that LeBron tweeted about it is the same day stuff started to move.
Oh, is that what happened? I saw the tweet. But is
Yeah, I
that
think
what?
he tweeted about it Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
But that's when things really started to be set in motion.
So
I mean, it kind of coincided with the video too, though.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it is that it wasn't like this was footage that the police has. This was footage that somebody that was associated with the family who murdered him.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like if they weren't on the internet bragging about what they did, they might not have even been arrested, because that's how the video got out, is because, you know, right after the same day that it happened, the father was on social media talking about his son had killed somebody.
Right.
And then the person who was capturing the video was part of the militia that was going out to hunt the guy down. And so they're the ones who had the footage. They were the ones who were sharing the footage on the internet.
But that's racism for you. Like, again, it's a mental disorder that makes you think things that aren't reality, right? And it's just not productive. It's like you're so passionate about controlling black bodies and brown bodies that you was like, yes, we got one. I need to get out here and celebrate. Look, y'all, look, we caught one.
Yeah.
You put yourself in jail. So, well, you in jail. Well, didn't they get arrested?
Yeah, they got arrested.
They're being held right now until they.
Yeah, no bond. I know that the son didn't get bond. I'm not sure about the father.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're in jail right now.
Listen, bro, this is my new stance on everything. I'm a Christian. God, love it. It's awesome. But there's this one little caveat that I think the black church is always missing, even the black community in general. If you ain't outworking your opponent, you're going to lose. I don't care what you're doing. You can believe in God all day, but if you ain't out there willingly putting yourself in a position to let God work in your life, or let laws work in your favor, or to hustle so your team can get that loose ball and get that last second shot in the game, you losing. That's my official stance. Government, sports, it's a hustle, dog. Everything is an effort move. We ain't got enough people putting in no effort. I don't know what people think is supposed to happen now that we got a brother arrested. I know everybody tired of hearing these hashtags, man. The junk hurt. I avoid the news now because of that kind of stuff. I'm like, yo, if we ain't out here trying to put the effort in and hustle and get stuff done, it's gonna keep happening. Right now, they winning because we not hustling hard enough. That's real simple. But that'll bring us to our next topic.
I mean, I hear you saying hustle hard enough. I'm saying what could have been done to prevent something like this?
You talking about the situation he in?
Yeah, situation. Yeah, I mean, like, don't go jogging. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, I ain't saying that I'm not saying that you need to live a life of fear, because they certainly don't. So obviously, it's possible for us to live a life of fear. This conversation I have quite often with some of my friends, white Americans, European Americans. They don't teach their kids to fear things. They don't teach their kids that they can't do something. In fact, we see some of the stuff they do on the internet because they have no fear. It looks pretty stupid, but you know, that's the life that they live. Meanwhile, we're teaching our kids that, okay, there's a set of rules that we have to abide by, certain things we can't do, certain places we can't go, X, Y, Z. Even within the own Black community, we got stuff that we won't let each other do because we know if we go on the wrong side of the street, we're gonna have an issue. So that mindset, first and foremost, needs to be addressed and changed. And then second, we got to start teaching our kids that we are only allowed to do certain stuff. We need to equip them with things to be able to do anything that they want. But we got to start teaching our kids that fear is not an option, dude. You need to learn how to navigate whatever you decide to get into, but you can't be out here telling your kids you can't go jogging. So I don't want that to be the message we take away from this situation. But we do need to, as adults, get out here and make it so that we don't have to be in situations that we have to worry about something like this happening. Now, I know this is a bit extreme for a lot of people, but I do think it's possible, and I always thought it was possible. But we're starting to see an uptick in people talking about stuff like generational wealth and real estate game, and all these different things that generate wealth for families, because we need to do what they call buy out the block in the Black community so that we don't have certain kind of issues. But to be honest with you, dude, we need to become a bit more insular. What somebody might call that segregate a little bit, but we don't have a situation right now where we're controlling an environment enough that isn't a far-fetched scenario. Like, this is way too common. That wasn't our neighborhood. I know you should be able to go wherever you want to go, but the reality is you can go where you want to go, but are you equipped to go certain places? I mean, saw some scary people back in the day called the Panthers.
I feel you, but it seems like we're always on the hook for being the ones that are held accountable when we're the ones that aren't in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, if this brother wouldn't have done this, it's like, no, they were dead wrong for what they did. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to be the ones that are held accountable for their wrong actions.
It is.
We got to pivot our moves because of them being wrong.
Somebody in the comments, Kendra just said it's hard to teach us not to fear stuff, because when you go and look back in history at something like Tulsa, Oklahoma, look at what happens when we try to do stuff like buy out the block. I have the perfect answer to that. I have an entire blog about this, blog post. This is what I think always happens to anything that's built up and then ultimately torn down. You don't defend yourself well enough. Let's go back to that sports analogy I just made. Let's say you're in a football game and your team is up by 20, 30 points. And we've seen this in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, the Falcons and the Patriots, 28-3, right? Big lead, wonderful. Oh, we've done all this wonderful stuff. Yes. Oh, man, we're going to win the game. We can relax. And what happened? They were attacked, and they didn't defend their position well enough. My clothing line, my blog, my Instagram page is named after Mansa Musa, who was the richest man in recorded history. Now, built an empire that was a third of the known world's size, right? So it was that big. The empire stretched that far and that wide. Beautiful, awesome, lovely, gold, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hundreds of businesses, Black neighborhood, Greenwood, awesome, blah, 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 blah. In both situations, they were torn down because they did not know how to defend. We don't spend enough time talking about how to defend things that we've acquired. Now, I see LA saying in the comments, we need to They need to raise their kids to not be racist. I can't depend on that. It's been 400 years. Don't seem like it's going to stop happening. But what can happen is we can learn to defend ourselves, just like in sports, anything. We keep building things and they keep getting torn down because we keep letting people in to destroy ourselves. The Tulsa, Oklahoma thing, Kendra, the situation was a young man was accused of groping a young white lady in a office building downtown. He worked in the elevator. And because of that, the mob came. Now, he was put in jail, and then he was escorted from the jail home by what? 2 black former Army officers. These dudes had guns. They were Army vets, and they came and got him out the jail once he was released, and they walked him home. In that situation, somebody defended it. So what the white people decided to do in that situation, they went and got more white people. Now, unfortunately, Greenwood didn't have enough Army people, enough Army vets to defend the situation, but we can see in that exact one that somebody was strong enough and skilled enough to defend that person enough to get him home. It was just unfortunate that the mob was bigger than the amount of people that were willing to defend, well, skilled enough to defend against the mob mentality. We can't keep expecting stuff to happen if we don't use all our advantages and our skills and hoping that white people teach their kids to stop being racist. It's been 401 years. It ain't happening.
I hear you, man, but I just don't know if you can out-prepare hate. Like, I really don't know if there's any way that you could just be overly prepared for every situation, in every move, especially when you don't necessarily know it's coming or you don't see it coming. I just don't know if, and then you got to understand is that preparation for defense takes away time and resources from other things. So that's why you got different people that focus on different jobs. If it's my job to do one thing, but I got to constantly, spend time securing and protecting my family or whatever, that's going to take away from my primary function. So as I said, I think it's the onus always comes back on us. The onus is never on them. The accountability is never on them. The onus always comes back on us to be doing everything for a situation that prepare ourselves for a situation that, one, would not be our fault, and two, something that may not ever happen. So, as I said, that's what I have a problem with, is the onus always being on us and them never being held accountable for the problems that they create.
So let me ask this, because I think a couple people are agreeing with you. Kendrell says Nat Turner didn't have the means to defend himself. We can only do so much to defend ourselves as a minority. We only make up 13%. What's the Asian population in America?
I want to say maybe 2%.
What's the Native American population in America?
What's that?
What's the indigenous people's population in America? What's happening is we're not watching a concerted effort of anything that we're doing to be prepared. Now, let me put it to you like this. There's enough knowledge now. Again, I got a little blog about it. White people have behavior patterns. It's called algorithms. You can Google it, whatever you want to call it. There's enough information out there for us to be prepared to deal with just about all of this stuff. I'm not saying that somebody has to dedicate their entire life to it, but I think the community as a whole needs to start turning their attention away from celebrities and back to political strategists, people that are willingly out here teaching on how to deal with that stuff. We got enough people out here that have been to the Army. We got enough people that have been to political strategy school and lawyers and all these wonderful things. But unfortunately, we're not listening to those people. They're not being propped up for us to look to for anything. So topic two. Jarrell, they did have a target on their back last month. Jarrell says the groups I named, the Asians and the indigenous peoples of America, don't have targets on their back. They can move and they're not being watched. That is true. They're not being watched as much as
their journey to America was different than our journey to America.
Which again,
that's
I'm not refuting any of that.
Take into account as well is that we're looked at differently because of the circumstance that we were brought to this country from. And so those are the same people who, you know, brought us to this country as labor and as, you know, people here to serve them. And so so as I said, other people weren't necessarily brought to this country for that reason. And so I think that's part of what makes up that that system. And then also it's something that's affected how they viewed us, but it's also affected how we viewed ourselves as well. And that's been passed down as well.
So we just gave a general rundown of what the experience has been like for us here. What are the next steps? P. Diddy, second topic, P. Diddy has this video that went viral, and he's demanding that we have an exchange for the black vote. Nothing wrong with that. He thinks that we should have political power in exchange for our vote. He wants us to get something in return for it. And if we're not being promised anything, he feels like we shouldn't vote or we should hold the vote hostage. Now, I said a statement earlier, we don't need to listen to people like P. Diddy because he's not a political strategist. He has the passion, he has the outreach, nothing wrong with his viewpoint, but it was irresponsible only because we have so many people in our community that just rely on celebrities to tell us how to move and how to think. So in that situation, my first thing would have been, Diddy, great job getting the message out there. You're upset. I need you to pass it off to a political strategist. Bring somebody on your show, go live with somebody that's a political strategist, and you let them talk about ways to deal with the situation. And you don't wait 3-4 months before the election happens before you start coming up with a plan. So to you, I pose this question to the viewers. What plans do you have or think we should take? The actionable items. Because I get tired of people complaining about, oh, white people won't stop. White people, I'm over that. I'm always about, all right, we see the problem. What's the solution? What's the solution?
I mean, I listened to what Diddy said, and I think 99.99% of the time, what Diddy was saying would be accurate, and it's something that we should listen to. I think this is the 0.001% of the time to where this is where it's wrong, just because of what's at stake with this next presidential election. I understand locally that people still have decisions to make. I understand that on a state level they have decisions to make, but I think on a national level, this is the one time to where the stakes are too high for us not to, align with one particular party, just because everybody on the other side is aligned and in lock in step. So I think, as I said, this is the one time where we have to be on the same page and make sure that we everybody go out and execute with the same game plan. Mm-hmm. I think that this is the one time where that has to happen. And if not, I mean, we see what we got now. So,
LA asked if we could suggest some names of political strategists that we could start to look at.
But that's the thing, is that Diddy has more of a platform than these political strategists do. So more people will listen to him than the political strategists. Like you said, it has to be something to where they work together to do it. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason why politicians use celebrities to promote their message. It's because they have more of a reach with the potential voters than politicians do.
And that's extremely unfortunate, because we've given the celebrities the power to dictate our thinking. We can only do so much when it comes to giving over our thinking or influence. Political strategist, my favorite, the one that I love and hope to marry one day, is Angela Rye. She's a celebrity. You know, people just completely disregard her. We have some other ones in mind, that I need to Google. I'll Google it now. But I don't see what's wrong with this. Again, I think this is a perfect plan. Y'all can help me with this. Diddy schedules a live stream on whatever platform he chooses. Because matter of fact, he did this a couple weeks ago. He had a little town hall. So Diddy needs to do this. And not just Diddy, but any celebrity. You can use Megan Thee Stallion, Beyonce, whoever you want to use. Anybody that black people just look at and be like, okay, tell us what to do. Set up a situation where you bring everybody to you, because again, when you open your mouth, everybody want to listen, and you have the strategist sitting there telling you or telling the audience what it is that you guys are agreeing to do about your problem. It does not make sense for somebody that's that powerful and who can sway people so easily to be that irresponsible with his words. I get that it was a passionate moment for him. I know what he was going for, but if you look at the comment section, people were like, that's why I don't vote no way. That's why I don't never vote, because both of them are evil. And that's people want to do that. Like, we can go time and time again and look at how celebrities are messing up real life situations for people. Trump is a celebrity.
They're messing up real life situations because that's not their lane. I mean, that's not what they were.
So why are we listening to him?
That's the thing. And to bring up Jordan admitted that, hey, look here, I was a basketball player and people wanted me to speak on things that I was not, that was not my specialty. My specialty was playing basketball, but people saw that I was a successful person or whatever, and they wanted me to do things that I was not educated on or things that I was not meant to do.
Right.
And people criticized him for that. And nowadays, celebrities are the people that are speaking up, and people so they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. And that's one thing that I was going to say about the Michelle Obama documentary is that I think it's nice for things like this to get out, just because these are the successful, smart people that we should be listening to. Ladies like Michelle Obama, as opposed to, like you say, the per se celebrity who they're not built for this. And for credibility, for people to speak credible on these subjects, it takes years of education. It takes years of understanding government. It takes years of understanding the legal system for them to make smart moves like that. And I think that's one thing that hopefully Michelle Obama did, was expand her platform and expand her credibility to where people put more credence in the things that she says, just because of the years of experience that she has behind her. And, and to kind of do a little bit of research, I looked up the most influential Black women of 2019, and Michelle Obama did not make the top 10.
10?
She did not make the top 10.
Oh, give me two, because I already know if she didn't. Honestly, bro, I'm not surprised.
Honestly, the Jordan were entertainers.
I know.
I mean, as I said, that's who has influence right now. It's unfortunate, but that's the case.
Okay, so this is my proposal. LA just said, well, I share my proposal after I read LA's comment. I think one solution is getting on the Police Citizens Advisory Board, which is a group of volunteers who help with policies within the corrupt system. That is true. I think that's a good start, LA. For those of us that are unaware, you need to work on your neighborhood policies and legal system, because you will see the effects of that sooner than you will voting for president. You need to work on your county issues, because you'll see the effects of that sooner than you would vote for president. And your state and your city. All of those things should be attacked first. We're looking at this situation with Mr. Ahmad because the local district attorney was put in place by a group of people that had more passion about their policies and their wishes than people who disagree with them. So we had Ahmad suffer the fate that he did, and then we had the district attorney decide not to arrest him. Why? Because the district attorney was put there by the people that murdered Ahmad. So step one, man, y'all got to get involved in local politics. Every time something like this happens, somebody on the local side decides to ignore it because we don't care enough about local politics. That's a problem in itself. So what LA is saying about getting involved in the police advisory committees is an excellent idea. I think Kendra was on that. in Tampa for a while. We need to get back to that. That we have way too many resources out here that are available to us to think that the system doesn't work. It's that we're not using the tools that we have. I wrote a blog post on that too. Hey, man, y'all check out my blog, dude. I addressed a lot of this stuff already in the past. But voting for president is not going to change the traffic lights in your neighborhood picking you up when you turn a corner. It's just, that's not how it works. You need to get involved and deal with the issues on your own front yard, on your front porch, before you can look forward to somebody helping. But back to celebrities. Negroes, the world, I'm not even going to make this a black person thing. The entire world is obsessed with celebrity. And that is okay as long as we don't look to them to help us deal with day-to-day problems. If they making music and making movies and making us happy when we're getting stressed out at work, that's cool. But we cannot look to celebrities to tell us how to deal with issues like politics. What we need to do is be putting pressure on celebrities to give their platform over to political strategists. And I just, there's nothing else we can do until we say, Diddy, you built this wonderful stage. It's extremely high. Anybody in the world can see it from their vantage point. Please pull a celebrity, a political strategist up on your platform to help us figure out what we should do, because we're looking to you for guidance. And I think that's what we've been irresponsible as black celebrities.
I can agree with that.
I don't know. Anybody in the comments? Because I'm trying to look up this. Diddy had a panel a couple days ago, about a month ago, to look up what the numbers were when it came to COVID and affecting African Americans. Oh, Van Jones. You can look at Van Jones. These are names that people, when they hear them, they would probably recognize them. But we cannot sit. Now, I don't want to live a life that is based on, well, white people might kill me, so I can't go outside. Well, white people might do this to me, and we need them to stop being racist. Stop waiting on that. Like, I'm staying in the house because of Corona, because that ain't something you can just go get the police or change the laws. Well, actually, you could change the laws to deal with that. But that's a different situation. Nobody knows how to deal with this yet. It's best that you avoid certain situations. But when it comes to this 401-year-old problem that we have with this side of the hand instead of this one, we got enough stuff in place. We got enough knowledge. And it will never work if we keep thinking that we got to depend on them to change stuff. Here's another little history lesson. The NAACP wasn't founded by all black people. W.E.B. Du Bois was one of the founding members, and they were called the Niagara Movement because initially it was a lot of people, some people was from Canada and everything, trying to help with the problem of slavery and Jim Crow in the 19th century. And one of the members was a guy named John Brown. He was a white guy. And so he was a white abolitionist. Those are people that were fighting to free black people from slavery. He was so passionate about the cause that he decided to participate in a raid on Harper's Ferry. It was a fort, and he went in there with guns, and he went in to fight and, destroy a stronghold that he thought was important. Now, there's a reason we know John Brown and not every other white person involved. It ain't a lot of them, and we can't count on a lot of them. So I think it'd be foolish to put our faith in somebody else. It's just like sports again. It's hustle plays, man. We got to make the hustle plays. And then we can count on the superstars like Angela Rye or Diddy or Jordan to come in and hit that last second shot to put us over the top. But if we ain't got enough Dennis Rodmans out here, bro. We ain't got enough John Paxsons. We ain't got enough Steve Kerrs, a.k.a. role players, people that need to do their job and stop relying on Michael Jordan to win the whole game. I don't see Jordan, not Jordan. In the documentary, we saw the Bulls go and play the Pistons for the third straight time. Well, between that second and third year, Jordan had the whole team in the weight room. Everybody had to lift weights, not just Michael Jordan. And so when they came to fight the Pistons that that next year, everybody was prepared. You saw how they dealt with Scotty. Scotty got pushed in the the basket on the inbound. Michael Jordan wasn't holding the ball. He wasn't even on the court. So we supposed to depend on him to be like, oh, he let me get pushed down. Mike, what am I supposed to do? No, you've been training this whole offseason, so you know what to do when it came time. I just, you ain't gonna beat the Pistons if you're scared of the Pistons and not training for the Pistons. We ain't gonna beat racism if we're not training and preparing as much as we can to deal with racism when it happens. But I think
the problem is that it keeps showing itself in ways that we can't prepare for, that or ways that are unimaginable. Like,
they're not unimaginable, bro.
I'm saying we knew exactly who the Pistons were. We knew their game plan. We knew what they were about, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls did. And so they were able to prepare. They said they're going to be physical. This is what they're going to do. So let's be prepared for it, right?
Okay.
I keep going back to the Ahmad situation. In this situation, I mean, what ways can you say, all right, I have to limit jogging to my own neighborhood? I'm just saying that there's no ways for us to account for their behavior all the time. It's just, I think that's an impossible burden on us to account for their behavior all the
time. Again, I don't think there's 100%. I don't think there's a solution that is effective 100% of the time. That's a foolish goal. It's not my goal. But what solutions do we have? That should be a freak occurrence, not a normal occurrence. There shouldn't be a laundry list of people that happened to them in the last 2 years, bro.
But here's the thing. I think that would help is if that people saw that there were consequences to actions like this. So I think that might be a deterrent. Like, just say George Zimmerman. Just say George Zimmerman had, was found guilty and sentenced to life. That might have made these men think twice about it. So I think, like you say, we can build up a stronger legal system to where, people like this are held and accountable. So even if it's not us that are holding them accountable, the legal system will hold them accountable.
And how do we change the legal system?
These men were able to commit this murder and then go home and go to bed that night
for 3 months.
And they continue to go home for 3 months or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's like when they don't see any consequences for their actions or whatever. So I think the legal system, them holding people accountable, which is what the legal system is in place for. So they would only be doing their job. It's not like they would be doing anything special for us. They would only be doing their job.
So how do we change the people that are in charge of the legal system? What's the one tool that we have right now that we can go and say, we don't want this district attorney in place. We want a different person?
Voting.
That's it. That's a very simple solution. Now, when we come to extra legal, which is what the men claim they were doing, which is, okay, we're taking the law in our own hands. What solution do we have there? This is where I have to get quiet because Black people get scared. What's the solution? Because they were obviously trained, spent money, got the skills so they can attack and shoot people.
It's a citizens arrest law that's available in Georgia. That's crazy, but
what I'm saying is we can't be such a affable group of people that we just let anybody do anything to us. We do not have boundaries. Again, the Mansa Musa situation. Hell, we can even look at the Black Panther movie with the one dude that was supposed to be on the council for T'Challa getting mad and not liking something and then letting Killmonger in the country. They had an adequate defense system for that when it happened, but one person decided to let it happen because he was in his feelings. We have to, something me Dr. Simmons talk about, because we talk about history all day, every day. But that's one thing we always talk about. If we're serious about changing stuff, we need to first and foremost dedicate ourselves to coming up with a value system that teaches us how to maneuver and do different things in different situations. Right now, the only thing we care about is making money, and we don't care about how we make it. And that's the only thing we care about as Black people right now. And so when it comes to situations like this, we're not prepared to deal with that. Because how many times are we going to see people be celebrities? Matter of fact, there was a lawmaker, I really want to say in Michigan. There's a Black lawmaker that had on a mask because he was out in public, and he got stopped by police. And the police was asking him to take his mask off. And he was prepared to talk to the dude in terms of legality. He's like, well, why are you stopping me? Well, because people doing X, Y, and Z. He was a state representative. People out here doing crimes, and we need to make sure that we can see who they are. So we need you to take off your mask. What? He was like, you must not know who I am. And he was prepared to deal with that situation from a legal standpoint and de-escalate the situation with the cop. How many people we know put any value on learning the local law enough to deal with a situation like that? How many of us are willing to invest in the defense?
I had a chance to have a conversation, though.
Why?
I might not have a chance to have a conversation, though. That's what I'm saying. Is that
what's wrong with carrying a gun?
My mom could have been armed with as much legal knowledge as possible, but he did not have a chance to have a conversation.
So that means you need to be prepared for what?
That's what I'm saying. How can we be prepared for every situation when we don't know what situations to be prepared for?
Dude, we know how to work it.
The onus cannot be on us all the time. That's all I'm saying. The onus
cannot be on us. It's your life. Whose job is it to protect your life?
But I'm saying there's still ignorant people that don't value your life, though.
Okay, so let me put it to you like this, man. Let me put it to you like this.
I'm just saying, so if you were in that situation, what would you have done differently?
You need to be prepared. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I wouldn't be in that situation because I don't know that neighborhood. And because I don't know that neighborhood, and I know white people, I'm not going in that neighborhood. I'm not jogging in the neighborhood. I'm not that stupid. So I don't feel like we should have been jogging in there in the first place. Now, people are like, we should have jogged where we wanted to.
This young man who's an athlete, his whole life or whatever, he has to limit his passions because of other people.
So let me.
That's contradictory to what you were saying earlier.
No, that's you using the knowledge that you got. Where would? Okay, perfect situation. Pine Hills is nicknamed what?
Crime Hills.
Why?
Because that's where a lot of crime takes place.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I grew up.
I'm with you. Okay, now, so we know the reputation that Pine Hill has. Do you put yourself in a situation in that neighborhood to get got by Black people that live there? Because you want to be free to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it.
No, I mean, I may move a little bit different when I'm at my parents' house from when I'm in my home neighborhood.
So yeah, what's the difference? We know. So in that scenario, I brought it up because of this. We know Pine Hills is called Crime Hills because crime don't happen. You don't do stupid stuff. I'm a Black man in Brunswick, Georgia. There's certain stuff I'm not doing because I'm not prepared to deal with it. So in this situation,
with that mindset, they win though.
Bro,
with that mindset, they're limiting what you're able to do, and they win.
So what are we supposed to do to change the reputation of Crime Hills? What are we supposed to do to change the reputation of Brunswick, Georgia? If we're not out here using everything that we have, and unfortunately the only thing we have right now is to tread lightly because we're scared to own a gun, because we're scared to know the law, because Diddy didn't make it cool for us to shoot back. The only thing we got right now is voting and not bothering them where they live at. That's the only tools we've been using. We have other options. We refuse to use them. Again, there's a reason we got Little Haiti and Little China and Chinatown and Little Italy, because they put themselves together in a situation where their culture and their value says that we should be together. We don't have that. And so that's why this keeps happening. He shouldn't have to jog outside his neighborhood. He should be in his neighborhood and like his neighborhood enough to jog in it. That's the problem, Pledge. It's gonna keep happening because we keep wanting to do everything but be prepared for this. There's a ton of blueprints, bro. We can't ignore them. I don't want people to keep dying. This should be a freak accident, but unfortunately, it's common because just like with Trayvon Martin, He was in a neighborhood policed by who? White people. What? I don't get why this is such a foreign concept. Oh, the cops should have arrested George Zimmerman. We didn't vote to put nobody in place. So this is what we're going to get when we don't do what we need to do in time. Like a stitch in time saves nine. We not doing the front loading, bro. Like, it's not that hard to figure out, man. Let me see. We got some comments. Mr. Davis, Marcus Davis said, great point, players. I'm sorry I forgot to look at what he was referring to. And then he says the only thing he could have done was being strapped. This is Mark Davis. Again, carry a gun. They got guns, so it's legal. Why we ain't got guns? Only time we talk about having guns is what? Oh, I'm shooting and capping other black people. But then when a white dude gunning us down, oh man, I got to get back to the money selling drugs. Who you selling drugs to? Black people. Come on, dog. Like, I saw a lot of memes about black people saying, nigga, y'all, all these Atlanta rappers talking about carrying choppers and Dracos, and now one of y'all niggas went down there and shot them crackers? It's a great question. I'm not endorsing violence, but we just love to kill black people. We don't even value black life. We don't value black life, pledge. We don't. So, again, who's responsible for that? Because it's not them. I don't like talking about it anymore because people not willing to do the work before the situation occurs to be prepared for it.
You know, black on black crime is one of the things they like to bring up in situations like this. So.
No, that's a proximity thing. I know exactly the problem. That's a proximity thing. White on white crime happens more than black on black crime. Why? Because you live by white people. If you're a white person, you're going to commit crimes with people in your neighborhood. I get that. What I'm saying is, we're the only ones preaching it. We're the only ones preaching it. We got the internet now. That's another conversation for another day. Diddy, I love the passion, but you was wrong. Let somebody else.
Wrong in this instance. Like I said, any other time, I think he would have had a point, but wrong in instance.
Yeah, I'll say that. It's not even that he's wrong about wanting what he wants in exchange for the vote. Withholding the vote and deciding at this point in the election cycle to do something about it, it's too late. And that's the only place he was wrong. And he needs to let somebody else do the talking about strategy. Diddy, not a political strategist, just like in the making the band stuff, you wasn't finna walk all the way down to China, to Cambodia town to get some Cambodian breast milk. You sent somebody to do it. I don't know why this is any different. Send somebody else to do the work. You can put your name on it. Bow. Diddy endorses this person for political strategy about getting something in exchange for the black vote.
I'm mad that you are confusing Diddy and a Dave Chappelle.
Those real people. They're real people. They still had to go get cheesecake from. What, man?
You're wrong for that, man.
I ain't wrong, man. I'm just like, yo, hey, man, we got two solutions, bro. Let's focus on. I'm sorry, y'all. We're getting a sidetrack. This is my wheelhouse. I'm extremely passionate about this stuff, so my bad. But we got two solutions from the comments. One is get involved in your local police citizen advisory board. If you're in Tampa, where most of my friends are, there's a black one. I'll get Kendra to give me the information on it because he used to be a part of it when he lived there. And then Mr. Davis said you can carry a gun because that's legal, and you know how to use it. That's legal.
And I shared that video with you yesterday where you had the young lady in Michigan that showed up for work. In contrast to the protests where people showed up at the Capitol with guns, the young black lady showed up to work surrounded by black men and brown men in guns yesterday. So, I mean, meet force with force. That's the mindset or whatever. But it is. I mean, I said I think it's unfortunate that these situations are happening, and like you say, what we can do, we can maximize, but we also, the onus isn't always all the time on us. I think we have to, hold other people's hateful actions accountable as well.
It's our life. We need to prepare for that by voting to put somebody in place to arrest the wrongdoers. I'll say that. But again, it's our life. We don't value it. They don't value it. We not voting. They not voting. The state representative was in Illinois. His name is Cam Buckner, and he was stopped in Chicago by cops while he was shopping because the cops said he couldn't see his face. So, hey, some BS, but it's the world we live in, homie. Hey, actionable items. Woo! Call to action. We have the Ahmaud situation that is terrible. There's a petition right now on color of change for Ahmaud. The site is called Color of Change, and the petition is Color of Change for Ahmaud. And it's asking people to go in and sign the petition to have the local district attorney removed so that this type of thing wouldn't happen again in the future. That's one thing that we can do right now if we're serious about getting any work done. I'll post a link to it in the comments. That's an example of one of the things that's at your disposal to deal with the issues here in the Ahmaud situation. Another thing you can do is you can text justice, the word justice, to 55156. And that'll also be a way for you to sign the exact same petition. Outside of that, we got local elections coming up soon. You guys need to, well, we got elections in general coming up. We need to make ourselves aware of the positions that are up for election. We need to deal with things since we just love to jump on cops' neck like we do because they are acting up. We need to elect different people in positions of power to monitor police. If that doesn't work, then you need to be prepared to do something more than voting. So those are our two things. I just put the link to the petition in the comments. Any other issues we want to talk about? Oh, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, the first ladies of Neo Soul. they going live tonight at 8. Oh, is it Nick?
Yes.
Is it 8 or 9? Go ahead.
I think it's 8. I'll look it up real quick.
All right. Yeah, but they going live tonight. May y'all get out and support. That's another issue I have that some other musicians brought up. Instagram was a platform that everybody got. We can take those battles and move it somewhere else that we can make money from it. So, hey, we need to be thinking about that. If we're serious about saving our own lives, we need to do everything we can. We need to take advantage of as much of the stuff as possible. And when something like this happens again, we've already done the work to put somebody in a place, an official capacity to deal with that. Let's not wait until somebody else gets gunned down before we start working on how to change the system. But yeah, players, what you got?
No, I was looking for the time of tonight. It's not being shown, so I was trying to give an accurate time.
All right, let me see if I can get an image real quick. 7 p.m. Ooh, wow. Okay, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Jill Scott and Erykah Badu go up at 7. But yeah, man. As always, I got sweaty in here, boys. Woo. Got me hot and bothered. But black people. What? I'm agitated, bro. We got to do what we can, man. Stop ignoring some of the tools that we have. You don't build a house with just nails and a hammer. So use all the tools you need to get what you want. Anyway, good. We out.
Yeah, man. As I said, we want to thank you guys for not only joining the show, but interacting, sending us your questions and comments on things. We appreciate it. We'll try to do more of these live shows to get as many people involved as possible on the subjects and topics that we're touching on. So as I said, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us, like always.
All right, don't forget to subscribe. You can find us at Mighty Sharp. That's Mighty Sharp. The podcast on Apple, Google, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook. Hey, we just about everywhere. Anchor, Stitcher, whatever you can think of for podcasting, we are on that. Recommend us to a friend. Help us out. Send us some topics. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see y'all again next time.
For sure. Peace.
That's all I got to say, man.